Welcome back to the Gen X Remix, Midlife, Laughs, and Next Acts, the podcast for bold Gen X women who are done playing small and are ready to build a business or career that lights you up. I'm your host, Tabatha Jones, your Corporate Escape Sherpa and career advancement and leadership coach. Before we dive in today, I just want to give a quick reminder about my upcoming workshop, Escape with Confidence, Clarity, Purpose, and Action for Your Bold Next Act. It's a 2-series workshop for Gen X women who are ready to finally take action and get serious about their next chapter with clarity, courage, and a step-by-step plan. The link to register is in the show notes, so pop on down and register now. All right, let's take a deep breath, literally, because today's episode is all about slowing down, resetting your nervous system, and remembering that you matter too. My guest today is Michelle Powell Evans, a dear friend and founder of Good Vibes on the Water. She's also a powerful practitioner of transformational energy work, EFT tapping, yoga, sound healing, and Soma certified breathwork. Her sessions take place on paddleboards, docks, decks, and mats. And her gift is helping overwhelmed women like us exhale stress, anxiety, and pressure so we can get back to balance. If you've been feeling off, anxious, or just plain exhausted by midlife madness, this episode is your permission to breathe, heal, and get back to you. Let's welcome Michelle. Oh, I'm so excited about today. Michelle, welcome to the Gen X Remix. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm so excited and I'm honored to be on your podcast. Thank you for allowing me to do this.
Oh my gosh, thank you for being here. I don't get to interview my good friends very often, so when I get to, I'm all giddy because I'm already, fangirling all over you. So we are going to jump right on in and get started with my favorite opening question, and that is, what is your remix story, Michelle?
It started a long time ago, but I'll fast forward from age 17 to probably about 7 years ago. And I was working at Tesla, not loving what I was doing, didn't like the commute, but my anxiety was building and building because I was unhappy with several different things in my life. And on my birthday, and it was hard not to cry, on my birthday in 2018, I paddled from one of our mutual friends' house, Adam's, down across Kellogg Creek, where I have the water out front of my house right now. And while I was paddling, I had this, you need to start a retreat for women. And I'm like thinking, how do I start a retreat for women? I owned one paddleboard and I had to borrow a paddle. And so it was so strong, I cried. And I'm like, okay, I don't know how to run a business. I am not a corporate or a business person, but I know I need to do this. So that was kind of it. It was so powerful and so strong, I couldn't get it out of my system. That was the beginning. And to fast forward without all the details, I'm here at this place now, and it happened like a half a year later. And that's when I thought, okay, I don't know how to run a business, but I'm going to buy 5 paddle boards. I'm going to put them on my credit card. And that's when I started Good Vibes on the Water. And I started doing paddleboard meditation classes.
I love that. And that's how we met. I actually went to a winery and it was a fundraiser and there was a raffle and you had donated a paddleboard session. And I thought, I want a paddleboard. And I am trying to remember, I don't think I had been on a paddleboard before that point. And I was so excited. And when I got to your house, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is my people. Like we were meant to meet. And just the fact that your home was on this beautiful stretch of the river and you did this wonderful retreat for us during that day, those couple of hours, I was just like, oh my gosh, I was so inspired. I am so excited about your remix because it has helped so many of us who needed someone like you in our lives and didn't even know it. So amazing. And so let's kind of hop in a little bit more because I know as much as I love the paddleboarding, you do so many wonderful things. Tell us a bit more about what other things you do now in these retreats?
Okay. So so backing up to when I was working at Tesla, the reason I started my paddleboard business was to teach meditation because meditation for me was very, very important. And fun fact, when I was driving home from Tesla, I had an anxiety attack that turned so crazy, it turned into a panic attack. And I went to the ER, and the doctor said, here's a prescription for depression, here's a prescription for anxiety. And might I suggest you do some sort of meditation or breath work? Little did he know that I had already started my meditation paddleboard business, but I wasn't doing it myself. And so that was like, oh my gosh, this is important for me to do this. And then that led to what else do I need to learn? So from there, I started actually in 2012 tapping, which is emotional freedom technique, one of the most powerful tools to work through any sort of stress. It started with Vietnam War vets, and I can explain more about that. But tapping is emotional freedom technique is a way to take whatever problem that you have going on or issue, and your reaction and your emotional reaction to what's going on, it'll drop it to the level 10. You can drop yourself down to a 2. That is a super powerful technique. Again, everything I do is I teach tools and techniques to manage stress. So meditation, yes. And I learned so much from one of my mentors, Joe Dispenza. The reason meditation is so important, even with someone like myself who has a monkey mind, who feels like, oh my gosh, I can hardly meditate. Your brain, when you're using breath work, when you're using even a guided meditation from someone else, not on your own, your brain does not know the difference between reality and your imagination. And so I have learned that that's been powerful, even though for years I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not good at meditation. And almost everybody tells me the same thing. So I'm like, oh my gosh, just a little bit. And so that is another one. Then, of course, I love this physical body. I'm so grateful for these bodies we have. And so a big part of what I do as part of my tools, everything is for the mind and for the physical body, and obviously for your soul. And so the physical body, I do a lot of classes on gut health because your gut, what's going on with your gut, it really connects with your mind. There's a big mind gut connection. That's another podcast, another day. Super important. I also believe breath work is the fastest way for Michelle and almost everyone I work with. Breath work is my most favorite tool to manage what's going on. And I'll share a couple of those too, if you want me towards the end, to just give people a takeaway, something to do on their own right now. And lastly, I've incorporated also vibrational therapy, where I'm using tuning forks, various tools in a class it's a sound bath class. I use those different tools and it just helps your body relax. So again, every single thing I'm doing is to assist you with taking your emotional, your physical, your mental health into your own hands. So you have your own tools.
Yeah, I love that so much. And as someone who's always got 85 tabs open in my brain at once,
Mhm.
the work that you've done has been so powerful because every now and then I hear your voice going, take a deep breath, hold it
Yeah,
to 4. So we definitely are going to try to add that in today
yeah,
and give our
yeah,
listeners a little bit of a takeaway
yeah,
that it makes a difference. And I know that one of the stories that you shared a while back with me was, you were at this situation in your car and you had gotten really stressed out in your car and you were able to just sit at that stoplight and tap and kind of get that anxiety level to come back
yeah,
down. I love that. And tapping can be a little weird. I'm going to tell you, I feel a little weird tapping myself, right? It's
yeah.
just a thing. How do you get people to overcome that feeling? Like, stop worrying about what people are thinking or stop worrying about what you're doing and do what's good for you.
I love this because a lot of what I'm doing, I've embraced the Eastern world. Yes, I'm living in the Western world, but I'm finding that again, all these different tools, techniques, everything that I'm using have been used for thousands of years. Tapping, not so much, but your body understands tapping right away. And I'll explain it. I'll give me 2 minutes here. Tapping is, for example, if there is, so this is the emotion, this is the emotion around an event that's happened. And when you're anxious or overwhelmed or depressed, anything, the emotion and the event are like stuck together, and your body's pumping adrenaline and cortisol because it's in the state of fight or flight or freeze. When you tap, you're tapping on various different acupuncture or acupressure points. And those different various points are sending a message directly to your amygdala. That's the fire alarm. That's the little guy who says, oh my gosh, we need to run, we need to hide, we need to fight. But you're telling the story. And I learned how powerful this was because when I was in therapy, I would start telling my story and my arms would get sweaty. I would get nervous. My heart would go fast and I could hardly get through a session. So tapping enabled me to slowly take what was going on, my energy and my feelings about it, and the event, it slowly takes it away, away, away. So you're telling what's going on. There's no BS here because your brains are really, and your body's a really good BS detector. So you say it like it is, what's going on and how you're feeling about it. And you go through several rounds, and the emotional connection that you have with that, it just starts separating it. So as if this is the event that happened and the emotions around it, your emotions start going down, and the event, you look at it and you can look at it without being stressed. And so it helps you make decisions going forward. It helps you not staying stuck in that holy, I call it the holy crap moment where you're like, holy crap. And just like, you're like stuck there. And so again, if it works for Vietnam War vets to get over massive PTSD, it works for everybody. In fact, I have a client who's 9 years old. I have three right now. This is not for only the Gen X gals. This is for everybody, 9 to 99 or 109 or whatever is how many years you have. Tapping gives your emotions a voice because they're going to come out of your body some way or the other. And usually it's run, hide, fight. That's what your body's meant to do. So this is a great way to regulate your autonomic nervous system from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic. So I'll explain more about that when we do breath work too.
I love that. One of the things, and I'm guilty of it. Everybody's in our generation is pretty guilty of it, but I just don't have time for that. I, fight that beast all the time with women who want to build their corporate escape plans. I don't have time to do that while I'm still working in my day job. We always find time, but I'm curious to know when you hear someone say, well, I just don't have time for that, Michelle. What do you tell them? What are some strategies or tips that you can give them to help them work that breath work or tapping or meditation into their day?
I love this question because every person tells me the same thing, including me.
I know. I say it too. I
Okay.
know. I don't have time.
Okay. So I don't have time. So I love James Clear talks about habit stacking. He's in Atomic Habits. Great book. And habit stacking is what I've incorporated. So if I'm brushing my teeth, I will intentionally look in the mirror and I'll breathe in. And as I'm doing this, I will add something out of all the tools that I teach. So I tell people, do it while you're driving. So when you're already doing something else that you don't have to think about, I don't think about driving. I can just drive. That's when I will do breath work. That's when I will tap. That's when I'll do different techniques, even for 2 minutes. Your brain is so efficient and is listening to all the information you're putting in that if you tell your brain, hey brain, I got 1 or 2 minutes, let's breathe and let's tap and let's come down a little bit because I'm going to an appointment or I'm doing this or I'm doing that. Your brain's like, okay, let's go. The other time, and I tell people, start with 1 minute. Don't make it a 25-minute guided meditation because you're not going to have time to do that. But you do have 1 to 2 minutes the second you open your eyes in the morning, and 1 to 2 minutes when you go to bed. I say start right there. That's it. I love baby steps. Just do a little bit, and then you'll do it without thinking, oh my gosh, I got to do some breath work or I've got to go do this or that. No, 1 to 2 minutes right before you go to bed and right when you wake up. It will set the trajectory for your day. And it'll also help you sleep better. So, and breath work with adding a thought to it or a quick tapping that's very, very important to do right then. And just start there. Give yourself 1 to 2 minutes.
That just small action steps. That's all it
Yeah.
takes to do
Yeah.
anything. That's so powerful and so helpful because as women, we're always doing everything for everyone every time. And we'll put ourselves on the back burner. Oh, I'll get to it another time. Oh, it's not that important. It's just this thing I need.
Yeah.
Or it's just this thing for me. And just 2 minutes, to your point, 2 minutes early in the morning, 2 minutes before bed.
Mm-hmm.
That's not very much time at all to take for yourself.
No, and Tabitha, I put it in my calendar. I've put things in my calendar until they become a habit. I don't put into my calendar what to do when I wake up and go to bed anymore. It's a habit. It's taken me years, but it was like, and now it's like, it's so natural. And I want to go back to the story, why I'm so passionate about doing this, because when I left the urgent care for that anxiety, which turned into a panic attack, I actually thought I was having a heart attack. That's how powerful your body reacts to stressful situations. I remember walking out, tearing up the prescription for the different medications, and then I held on to the one that he said either breath work or some sort of meditation. And I'm like, this is where I'm going with this. Not that I'm against medications. I'm like, no, 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 I'm not against them. But I thought, wait a minute, I brought this on with stress. I can learn how to manage this. So that fueled me to do it, not just share it and teach it. I wasn't doing it myself.
Yeah, we tend to do that, right? Offer
Mhm.
the recommendation and forget to take it for ourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, One of the things that you do also is your sound bath meditations. I am someone, like I said, 85 tabs are always open. It's just never ending. I do find that when I think meditation and I hear people, oh, I meditated for 25 minutes, I just start laughing. I'm like, that's not going to happen. I can barely, anything for 25 minutes. I don't have that kind of brain. But when I came to your house and I laid on my mat, I was able to get into the zone really quickly. And I'm curious to know and understand a little bit more about how that sound bath piece integrates and how it causes that kind of instant relaxation.
Beautiful. So our body, we're just a bunch, our whole body is this vibrational field. And if you and I will say the Western world is now really looking into and integrating the science behind this. And there's a lot of information. If you go on Google, look at the Heart Math Institute, and even go to Google and just look up what is the science behind vibrational healing, vibrational therapy. Your body loves it because it's a whole bunch of vibrations. The sound bath and all the different techniques that I'm using and the different tools during a sound bath, your body recognizes vibration. You feel it, Tabitha. When you walk into a room, you feel like, oh my gosh, I feel so good in here. Or you've walked into a room, you're like, it feels like someone's talked about me, or it doesn't feel good. Your body has a really good sonar and radar. That's part of our survival system. When you're in a sound bath, your body recognizes the frequencies. Each part of our body has a different vibration. And again, we can leave some links if we need to in the comments and the notes about the science behind this, because there's so much work that's going on behind the science of this because people have questioned it. But basically, the sound bath, if you Google it and look it up, it is a almost a bath for all of your energy fields, where it assists in your body to release energetic stress. We have so much stress we're bombarded with. I'll just say from being on the laptop, EMFs, from politics, oh my gosh, from social media, um, from the chemicals that are in our air, our water, our food. Our bodies are bombarded with information, a heck of a lot more than I'll say 100+ years ago. So our bodies, I believe, weren't really built to handle the amount of stress. And you had mentioned we all have like 85 tabs open in our life. It's too much. So your body's in a little bit of a constant state of stress. And so the sound bath will just wash all that away. And it's almost like you have to try it to believe it. And you can go on YouTube. There's different ways of listening to this without being at a sound bath. But if you're out here, I would love to invite everyone over to try it. I have a money back guarantee.
Yeah.
And
And it's an amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
The one of the things I noticed, I think it was last summer. I was having a day and I felt just really stressed. It was a weekend day. I can't remember if it was Saturday or Sunday. I just remember it had to have been a weekend day because I was in the backyard most of the day and I just could not shut my brain off. And finally, I was like, you know what? Just turn on that sound bath playlist. And I'm laying by the pool, the waterfall's going. I turned on the sound bath. I woke up an hour and a half later. My dog's passed out next to me. Like we both just released everything. I woke up and I was like, oh my gosh, I felt like a different person.
Mhm.
And it's one of my favorite things because it's so simple and just such a gift for your sensory system, I would say, senses, right? You know,
Yeah.
the scientific piece of it. But I'm like, you just feel like a whole new person when you kind of come back to the real world and think, oh, okay, whatever that was, it wasn't that big of a deal. I just needed this minute.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's one of my very favorite things.
And I think it's interesting because we are built with all of our five senses to be constantly, this is our, when we were in the cave woman days, we had to use our five senses to survive, or going back a couple hundred years, right? We had to. So our senses are on all the time, searching, scanning, looking for any sort of stress. And so that's why any one of these techniques, it's almost like you talk yourself out of that stress and become relaxed. And again, everything we're doing is switching the run, hide, fight, your parasympathetic nervous system, which when you breathe, it's right here. It switches it to your sympathetic versus this is a sympathetic, and it switches it to the parasympathetic, which is relax, repair, and heal. Our bodies require to be in that state a good portion of our lives, but it's flip-flop right now with all the stresses we have going on. So again, all these tools and techniques, all these little quick hacks, 1 or 2 minutes will switch that.
Absolutely. And I tell you, to your point, like the way things are going right now in this world, it definitely is great to have these tools, and the information you're sharing is so helpful, especially for those of us who are just kind of, it seems like everywhere we look, there's something negative going on right now. And this just kind of brings you back to self. Maybe stop looking at social media for a day or two. Stop looking at the TV for a day or two. If you're in a conversation and someone starts bringing up the thing that triggers that stress for you, maybe give yourself a little break from that person for a couple of days and just get back to you, whether it's through a little breath work, meditation, or any of the other options you've shared. One of the
I was going
things
to
you
say, I would
say,
love to, okay, ask me your question, but I would love to bring in breath work at one point because that is the fastest way right now.
we're
Stress.
100% going to, you know what, let's do it now. Let's do a
Okay.
breathwork little
Because
taster right now.
I want everyone that's listening to feel
Yeah,
empowered that
I agree.
that you can do these techniques to manage your stress quickly. And I like things easy. I'll be honest. I like an easy meditation. And by the way, I listen to guided meditations because if I'm doing my own meditation, I'm like, I'll breathe in, I'll have a mantra, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to go shopping tomorrow. Blah, blah, blah. And so I found, guess what? I don't do my own meditations really well. And I've been doing this for a long time. So I listen to guided meditations. I love that. Breath work. My journey led me to breath work, and I'm a Soma breathwork facilitator. And so the beautiful thing about your breath, and actually all of these techniques, is they're at your fingertips 24/7, and they don't cost you anything. But your breath is so powerful. When you're breathing in and when there's stress, unless you process, those emotions, they stay stuck in your body. And that's another thing that I do is I help locate stuck energy. But breath work, if you're just to do something simple, hand on your chest and hand on your belly, and when you take a deep breath in, just notice what's going on. When you breathe in, are you breathing up like this and moving all this? That's what I was taught for so many years. Big breath in, Michelle. And so I would do it. But think about when you're stressed, you're doing that. I've done that driving in the car. I'm like, someone will cut me off because I've been in a couple of car wrecks. And I get nervous when I drive. Someone will cut me off and I'll hold my breath. And this whole area is tight and my body's ready to fight back or to do something. Then I just stay stuck. So now I use this when I drive. So the inhale and the exhale are super important. I focus not breathing through my chest. I place my hand, one hand on the wheel and one hand on my belly. And as I breathe in, I will breathe in through my nose and I'll push my belly out like a balloon. And then I'll exhale and I'll squeeze it in. I've had to retrain myself how to breathe, Tabatha, because I couldn't do that. Even with all the different techniques and tools and everything I'm doing, and doing yoga and all this, I still was more times than not in a state of stress and I wasn't breathing correctly. So inhaling, you want this just to stay relaxed. And the easy way to do it is either sitting in a chair like we are or laying down. My favorite way to learn this and practice it is laying down. And now I just practice every day while I drive. But when you put your hand on your belly and you're breathing in and breathing out, that's sending a message. Again, whether you're breathing from your chest or your belly, you're sending a message to your brain. Run, hide, fight, or on your belly, rest, heal, digest. Let's just undo. Let's let go. Okay. So again, an easy technique, and let's just do it together, is we're going to, and if you do this for 1 minute, okay, 2 minutes tops, the vibration, the energy in your body will change. And whatever's going on, it will bring down how you're reacting to it. So when you inhale through your nose 2 seconds and you exhale for 4 seconds, that is slowly switching stress to relaxation. So it's like this. Let's just do it. So if you're listening, let's go. Breathe in for 1, 2. Exhale, part your lips for 2, 3, 4. And your belly's going. Inhale, belly moves out. Exhale, bring your belly back. And we'll do 2 more. Inhale, focus on your belly, relaxing and moving out as you inhale. Then exhale, 2, 3, 4. Back in, last one, and exhale. As long as your exhale is longer than your inhale, that is when your body is going to go, oh my gosh, because you're sending a signal to your brain every time you breathe. So that is, for me, the fastest way to switch. And it takes a couple of minutes. The other, so inhale 2. And if you're like, no, I want to inhale 3 and exhale 6, just try to double your exhale. Don't get so excited about the supposed to's and you have to breathe in, because there's so many techniques. And for me, I don't want to think about it. I just want to do it. So whatever you're breathing in through your nose, make sure your exhale is twice as long or about. Okay. The other one, and this is my favorite, after I've done that, I just want to feel good. I want to keep the energy going, so to speak, is you'll breathe in 4 seconds and you'll exhale for 4 seconds. That right there, when you're breathing the same exact, and it could be 6 seconds, inhale, 6 seconds, exhale, or 5 and 5. But when you're doing that, your brain and your heart gets into a flow of coherence. And that is magical. Then your body starts believing. If you have an affirmation, your body's going to say, oh yeah, this is true. I like how this feels, because your brain and your heart are one. But and I'll go to affirmations, because for many years I did affirmations. I'm this, I'm that. And I'm like, okay, why aren't they working? They weren't working because I wasn't breathing correctly. And I was in a lot of stress. So your first thing is really focusing on inhaling 2 or 3, exhaling 4 to 6. Then once you've done that. Your body's like, all right, let's go. It'll believe what you're telling it.
I love that. Just after a couple of breaths, there was a weird background noise there. Just after a couple of breaths, I mean, I already feel the difference, right? I mean, I just, of course, was breathing with you because why wouldn't I? But I do, you just feel like your shoulders have gone down a little bit and you're feeling a little bit lighter. So, for those who are listening, I do hope that you give this a try. I mean, you just got yourself a great tool to add to your toolbox. I used to use this in my office back in my corporate days a lot. I would have people walk in and I'd be like, hold on, 2 more before you can drop any more on me.
Yeah.
So I know it can work anytime, any place, to your point, when you're sitting in traffic, when you're sitting in your office and you're feeling stressed out, when you're, at home as an entrepreneur or as a parent, and you just need a second. It's like giving yourself and your body a quick gift of a timeout so that you can get back to where you need to be.
Yes. And oh my gosh, I don't know how much time we have, but there's one or two more if we
Okay.
want to do those. I have those, or we can.
Let's do one more and then we will keep going.
Okay. Everyone's heard of box breathing. I won't go over that. I'm going to go over the physiological sigh. But if you want to learn more about box breathing, go look that up or reach out to me and I'll go over that with you. But the physiological sigh or the cyclic breathing is you're going to breathe in twice and then you exhale with a sigh. So you're going to go sniff, sniff, and you're going to sigh out. And a lot of people are following Huberman Lab. He's out of Stanford, and he's done a lot of research on this. So you're just going to, oh, by the way, that vocal tone is sending a message to your vagus nerve, who's always looking for anything all the time that could be stressful. But you're telling it, hey, it's cool. We're going to relax. So sniff, sniff, sigh. That is the fastest way to regulate your autonomic nervous system. And you'll do that after a big cry. Okay. So sniff, sniff, sigh. I love to make a little extra noise because, again, that's going to double up and remind and tell your vagus nerve to relax.
Love that. Thank you so much. And I know our listeners right now are feeling some really good energy. One of the things you said as we were prepping for this conversation is, meditation and breath work are not an option. I think I'm kind of getting it now. But why do you believe this is true?
Well, with just the meditation alone and with breath work, this brain of ours is this massive supercomputer that's taking in so much information. And when you take control in your brain and use breath work with a meditation, and that meditation is either your own words or a guided in meditation, your brain does not know the difference between reality, what's going on, and your imagination. And that's powerful. So when you do your breath work, take yourself to an ocean. Make the sound of a wave. Your brain will think you're at the ocean. So that's why I think it's so powerful is we're really in charge. We really are. We're reacting to a lot that's going around us and there's so much going on, but you take charge when you go within, and again, just a few minutes. Again, your brain does not know the difference between your imagination. So I say, go big with your meditations, have fun like a kid would, and reality of what's really going on.
Love that. That's so good. And I'm excited because we're coming back onto paddleboard season. When we go out with you and we do the amazing paddleboarding meditation, we do some breath work and tapping. I always feel like I am set for success for the whole next week because I just feel so good and had that time. I was talking to someone earlier about getting excited because I was interviewing you and we were going to talk about it. And she said, paddleboarding meditation, that sounds dangerous. And I couldn't stop laughing because I'm like, well, we lay down. We're all safely hooked up together and Michelle doesn't let anything bad happen. But for those who are interested in paddleboarding and you're out here in the East Bay area or willing to drive to the East Bay area, that is an experience that I also really recommend. there is nothing like getting out on the water and being able to practice all of these things. So, Michelle, I'm so excited about our conversation today. And I know our listeners are thinking they want more. What's the best way for them to connect with you?
So my website is my full name, michellepowellevans.com. And my email is Michelle Powell Evans. And my cell phone's on it. You can send me an email. You can text me. You can call me. I will go over any of these tools and techniques with you. I always love to meet new people. I don't charge. I take 15 minutes and then I'll do that for free. It's like, oh my gosh, I heard you on Tabatha's podcast. I want to know more about this box breathing because you didn't go into it. So I will do that. But on my website, there will be different areas. I have buy 3, get 1 free for my private coaching, for the breath work, with the crystal bowls, or with paddling, or any of my services. I also do retreats, day and also 2-day retreats. And I have a couple of different programs. Of course, you can get the freemium, 3 ways to manage stress in less than 3 minutes. And then the other is 5 ways to manage your mind, body, soul in 5 ways, 5 ways in 5 days. And then I do have coming up a monthly subscription. So a lot of good things.
Oh, I'm excited to hear more about that
Everything's
subscription.
on the website. Yeah.
So good. Okay. So many great ways. I will make sure that your information is in our show notes. And I truly encourage those of you, ladies, especially who are feeling that just tension or stress, frustration, things just feel like they're heavy right now for a lot of us. Reach out, because just a couple of minutes with Michelle and getting some of her great strategies can make a huge difference in your life and a huge difference for your health. The impacts of stress are so awful, really, when it comes to our health. So definitely don't be shy. Reach out, let her know that I sent you. You heard her here. We'd love to make sure that we're getting some really, just great new connections as we continue to show up together in different spaces.
Thank
Michelle,
you.
before we go, do you have any last parting words of wisdom or advice for our listeners?
I do. And I'll be honest, my throat is starting to get tight because I feel like crying. The reason why is, you guys, I'm so passionate about helping women. I'm 62 and I have so many friends that are younger than me. I do not want them to deal with the amount of anxiety that I have for decades. And so I'm so excited to reach out to anybody, or all of you reach out to me, please blow up my phone. Because my heart and my purpose, really, I've decided my purpose, I know is to teach these so that we have a better connection in our home, city, in California, around the world. It just takes one person at a time to make a difference and level up and move from stress to a little bit more of a state. I call that stress is fear, to a state of love and relaxation. And it sounds kind of woo-woo, but it is what it is. If I can be a part of that and help anyone, my day is done. I go to bed and I cry a lot of times when I go to bed. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to help one more person today, or 2 more people. So know that I love meeting new people and helping them any way I can.
I love that. Thank you so much, Michelle. And I just love your honesty and your authenticity. And any minute that we get to spend together, I just leave it feeling so joyful. So thank you. We appreciate having you here on the Gen X Remix today, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Wasn't that empowering and powerful? Michelle reminded us that wellness doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be consistent. A few mindful breaths, a little bit of intention, 2 minutes out of your day. It's all it takes to shift from stress and fear to calm, clarity, and connection. If you want to experience more of Michelle's magic, visit michellepowellevans.com. Reach out to her for a free discovery call and check on her upcoming session, paddleboard meditation, those are my favorite, and retreats. All of her contact information is in the show notes. And don't forget, if you're building your own midlife remix and you need structure, strategy, and support, be sure to join me for Escape with Confidence. clarity, purpose, and action for your bold next act. We'll map out your vision, your timeline, and the real steps to help get you moving in the right direction. Pop over to the show notes to reserve your spot. Until next time, friends, remember, you're not too old, it's not too late, we're just getting started. So take a deep breath, take action, and keep on remixing. We'll see you next time.